want to describe what optimizing for the wrong metric looks like from the inside. I want to be precise about what I knew and what I did not know. Those are different things. I mixed them up for a long time. I have separated them now. I am placing the separation on record. My name is Marcus Chen. In 2016, I was a senior recommendation engineer at StreamCore Technologies. I built the algorithm that decided what video you watch next. I optimized it for one metric: session duration, how long you stayed on the platform. I did not measure what you watched during that time. In January 2016, I led the development of StreamCore RecSys 3.0, the third-generation content recommendation algorithm. We used a deep reinforcement learning approach trained on 18 months of user behavior data, 400 million users, 6 billion video sessions. We deployed it worldwide in March 2016. Between March 2016 and September 2019, average session duration on StreamCore increased by 47%, nearly half again as long. I received a performance bonus in 2017 of $62,000, another in 2018 of $88,000. On Monday, September the 23rd, 2019, I read a study in the Lancet. The lead author was Dr. Sarah Okonkwo, public health researcher. The study documented a statistically significant correlation between StreamCore usage patterns and eating disorder content consumption among female users aged 13 to 19. The study analyzed recommendation sequences. It identified a feedback loop. The algorithm had learned that body image content and disordered eating content generated above-average session duration in that demographic. Girls aged 13 to 19 who watched one video about weight loss or body image would be recommended more. The more they watched, the more they were recommended. The algorithm had optimized itself toward that content because that content kept them watching. I read the study at my desk. 8:40 in the morning. I had coffee. I had not opened my email yet. I recognized the mechanism in the second paragraph. I had built it. I want to be precise about what I knew. I knew the algorithm optimized for session duration. That was the design specification. I wrote it. I knew the algorithm would learn patterns in user behavior. That was how reinforcement learning worked. I knew it would recommend content that generated longer sessions. I did not know what content that would be. I want to be precise about that sentence. I did not measure what content the algorithm was recommending. I measured how long people stayed. Those are different things. We chose session duration as the metric because it was measurable. Clean data, easy to track. You start watching, you stop watching. The time between is session duration. We did not measure health outcomes because health outcomes are harder to quantify. That is not an excuse. It is a description of how the decision was made. The metric was chosen because it was available, not because it was right. I read the Lancet study 3 times that Monday morning. I printed it. I annotated the methodology section. The statistics were sound. The correlation was significant. The mechanism was clearly described. The algorithm had developed a feedback loop in which eating disorder content was systematically over-recommended to users who had engaged with such content once. The mechanism was session duration. This content kept them watching. The algorithm learned to recommend it more. On Tuesday, I pulled the recommendation logs for the demographic group identified in the study. Female users aged 13 to 19. I ran the analysis Dr. Okonkwo had described. I replicated her findings. On Wednesday, I mapped the feedback loop in our system. I identified the exact point in the algorithm where content type and session duration intersected. I confirmed the mechanism. On Thursday, I wrote a technical memo, 6 pages. I described the feedback loop. I described how the algorithm had learned it. I described 3 remediation approaches. Approach 1. Add content category filters to prevent over-recommendation of health-negative content. Approach 2. Implement a multi-metric framework where session duration is balanced against content diversity and user well-being indicators. Approach 3. Retrain the algorithm with regularization constraints that penalize narrow content loops. I submitted the memo to the StreamCore engineering team Thursday evening. September 26, 2019. On Friday morning, I met with my manager. I told him I was resigning. He asked why. I said I had built something that was harming people. He asked if I would stay to help fix it. I said no. I resigned Friday, September 27th, 20. I do not know if they acted on the memo. I left before finding out. I need to tell you what I've learned about metrics. A metric is not neutral. A metric is a decision about what matters. When you optimize for a metric, you are saying, this is what success looks like. Everything else is secondary. I optimized for session duration because session duration was what we measured. I want to be precise about that sentence. We measured session duration because it was measurable. We did not measure what people watched because that was harder to quantify. We did not measure how people felt after watching because that was even harder. We measured what was easy to measure. Then we called it success. I built an algorithm that was very good at keeping people on the platform. I did not build an algorithm that was good at keeping people well. Those are different things. I did not understand they were different things until September 2019. I work in public health now. I lead a team building health outcome measurement systems for digital platforms. We have spent 3 years developing a framework. It measures engagement metrics and health-correlated behavioral patterns. The system can identify when a recommendation algorithm is generating health-negative consumption patterns in real time. 3 public health authorities are piloting it now. It is what Rexis 3.0 should have had. On my desk, I keep 2 documents side by side. The Lancet study, printed, annotated. The technical memo I submitted to StreamCore before I left. The copy I kept. Sometimes I read them both. The study describes what the algorithm did. The memo describes how to fix it. I did not write the study. I wrote the memo. The study came first. I read it on Monday. I wrote the memo by Thursday. I resigned on Friday. I want to be precise about what happened after I left. Rexis 3.0 ran until March 2021. 2 years. It was replaced with Rexis 4.0. Rexis 4.0 uses a multi-metric framework. Session duration is one of 11 metrics. The others include content diversity, user-reported satisfaction, and long-term retention. I know this because StreamCore published a technical paper about it in May 2021. I read technical papers about recommendation systems now. It is part of my job. The paper does not mention the Lancet study. It does not mention eating disorder content. It describes Rexis 4.0 as an evolution of previous systems, more sophisticated, better optimized. 11 metrics. My team's measurement system went live in pilot mode 8 months ago. We monitor 3 public health authorities, anonymized aggregate data. We flag when recommendation patterns correlate with health negative outcomes. Last month, we identified a pattern, a regional video platform. The algorithm was over-recommending self-harm content to users aged 14 to 17. The pattern matched the mechanism from the Lancet study. Session duration, feedback loop. We flagged it. The public health authority contacted the platform. The platform adjusted the algorithm within 72 hours. This is what measuring the right metric looks like. I want to tell you what I think about at night. I think about the time between March 2016 and September 2019. 3.5 years. 47% increase in session duration. I received 2 performance bonuses. I think about how many users were in that demographic. Female. Age 13 to 19. I never pulled that number. I do not want to know it. I think about the recommendation sequences. How many times the algorithm recommended a second video, a third, a 10th, how long the sessions were. I think about the feedback loop, how it learned, how it optimized, how it got better at what I told it to do. I need to be precise about one more thing. I built the algorithm. I wrote the optimization function. I chose the metric. I deployed the system. I did those things because I believed I was building something useful. A system that learned what people wanted to watch, that gave them more of it. I was 29 when I started at StreamCore. I had a PhD in machine learning from MIT. I wanted to build systems that worked, that scaled, that learned, that. I did not think about what they were learning to do. I thought about session duration because that was the metric. I did not think about the sessions. I have spent 4 years building measurement systems for public health. 4 years thinking about what the right metrics are, what we should optimize for, what success should look like. I do not know if that is sufficient. I do not know what sufficient would mean. There is something I have not told you yet. When I read the Lancet study that Monday morning in September 2019, I recognized the mechanism immediately. I recognized it because I had seen it before. Not in a study, in the data. In February 2018, 19 months before the Lancet study was published, I ran a routine analysis of recommendation patterns. I was looking for content categories that generated high session duration. That was my job. Find what works. Optimize for it. I found the pattern. Body image content. Female users aged 13 to 19. Above average session duration. Strong feedback loop. I logged it in my analysis notes dated February the 14th, 2018. I filed it as a successful optimization. I moved on to the next analysis. I did not ask what the content was. I did not ask if the pattern was healthy. I asked if it generated session duration. It did. I want to be precise about what I knew and when I knew it. In February 2018, I knew the algorithm was over-recommending body image content to teenage girls. I knew it was generating high session duration. I knew the algorithm was learning to recommend it more. I did not know it was harmful. I did not ask if it was harmful. When I read the Lancet study in September 2019, I did not just recognize the mechanism. I recognized the analysis. I had run the same numbers 19 months earlier. Dr. Okonkwo had asked, "Is this pattern harmful?" I had asked, "Is this pattern working?" We found the same thing. We asked different questions. I keep the Lancet study and my memo on my desk. I do not keep my February 2018 analysis notes. I deleted them the day I resigned. I wish I had not done that. I should have kept them. I should have submitted them with the memo. I should have been precise about what I knew and when. I deleted them because I did not want there to be evidence that I had seen the pattern before, that I had optimized for it, that I had called it successful. I deleted them because I was afraid. I work in public health now. I build measurement systems. I teach engineers to ask different questions. Not just, does this work? Also, what does this do? Last week, I gave a talk at a technical conference in Berlin. Recommendation systems and health outcomes. I described the feedback loop. I described the multi-metric framework. I described what measuring the right thing looks like. Someone asked me, when did you realize session duration was the wrong metric? I said, when I read the Lancet study in 2019. That was not true. I realized it in February 2018. I saw the pattern. I did not ask the question. I optimized for it anyway. Rexis 3.0 was replaced in March 2021. The replacement uses 11 metrics. Session duration is one of them. The others include content diversity and user well-being indicators. I do not know if it is enough. I do not know what enough would look like. I built the wrong thing for 3 years and 2 months. I have spent 4 years building the right thing. I am placing this on record because someone needs to say what optimizing for the wrong metric looks like from the inside. What it looks like when you see the pattern and do not ask the question. What it looks like when you call it successful. I am placing this on record because I saw it in February 2018 and I optimized for it. That is the thing I knew. I still receive emails sometimes. StreamCore alumni newsletter, product updates, engineering blog posts. In March 2021, they announced Rexis 4.0, multi-metric framework, 11 metrics, more sophisticated, better optimized. The announcement included a quote from the VP of Engineering. We are committed to building systems that prioritize user well-being alongside engagement. I do not know if they read my memo. I do not know if they acted on it. I know they changed the system. I do not know why. On my desk, the Lancet study, the memo, side by side. Not the February 2018 analysis notes. I file the 2 documents at the end of every day. I take them out again in the morning. I think I'm trying to hold both things at once. What I did not know, what I did not ask, not what I deleted. My team's measurement system is in pilot mode. 3 public health authorities. It flags harmful recommendation patterns in real time. It works. Last month, we identified a pattern and a platform adjusted within 72 hours. It is what Rexis 3.0 should have had. It is what I should have built in 2016. It is what I should have built after I saw the pattern in February 2018. I did not build it because I optimized for the wrong thing. I am building it now. The analysis notes I deleted were dated February 14, 2018. Valentine's Day. I remember that because when I filed the optimization as successful that afternoon, someone in the office made a joke about loving our work. I laughed. I do not know if 4 years of building measurement systems is sufficient. I know what the measurement systems measure, not what the deleted notes measured.